Jashodanandana Braja Jashodanandana Braja Jamuna Tira Bonachari Jamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Gopi Jana Vallabha Gopi Jana
Hare Krishna. So we would like to welcome all the participants for this weekly association of Srila Guru Maharaj. And every Thursday we hear from Srila Guru Maharaj, and we will be continuing seminar by Srila Guru Maharaj on Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya. And today is the second session. Devotees can hear attentively. At the end, there will be a short quiz, and all the devotees are kindly requested to participate in this quiz. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Managing authority. But the spiritual head, Srila Prabhupada, that position has been secured. Okay, now let us consider if Srila Prabhupada didn't do that, then what would have happened? We have the history. What happened to Gauriya Math? Maybe you all are not so well aware of it. Just to give you a brief idea, as I mentioned, the Gauriya Math became totally dysfunctional. Although individually they're carrying on the spiritual life, but the preaching Krishna consciousness effectively all over the world didn't happen. Stopped. Even in India, their preaching stopped. Whereas Srila Prabhupada came and established ISKCON, and through ISKCON, we can see what has happened. All over the world, Krishna consciousness movement has spread. Now let us consider in this way. We have also another history within ISKCON. We have another history within ISKCON. An understanding was that Srila Prabhupada appointed 11 gurus. So out of that, now consider, out of that 11 gurus, most of them actually had spiritual difficulties. Now we saw in Gauriya Math, when the spiritual head fell down, what happened to Gauriya Math? It collapsed. Now, if ISKCON was Prabhupada handed over ISKCON to a group of spiritual heads appointed by him, then over a period of time, how long it took, for most of them to have spiritual difficulties? It started in 3 years' time, from 78 to 81, and by 85, 7 out of 11 gurus fell down. Now what would have happened? Would have been any ISKCON there today? In a situation like that? It caused a lot of damage because they were gurus, they had thousands of disciples. And when the guru falls down, what happens to the disciple? The spiritual life gets completely devastated. Now, did it happen to ISKCON? Yes. Many of them lost faith and left ISKCON. But did it affect ISKCON? Not really. Why not? Because of the GBC concept, collective management. Gurus may have fallen down, and when the gurus fell down, then the collective body of the GBC said, okay, then you can't continue as a leader, spiritual leader. Only because of the GBC body, they could take such a strong stand. It was not one person, two persons, it's a body. With the approval of Srila Prabhupada, that they are the ultimate managing authority. And when they say that you have to do this, you have to do this. So this is how we can see how ISKCON was saved. And ISKCON is continuing. Gurus have fallen down. But those who remained in ISKCON, their spiritual life remained intact. So this is how we see the importance of this institution to continue, and in order to hold the institution together, there is a need of the head and the managing body. And the head of ISKCON for all time is Srila Prabhupada. It has been inscribed in stones in ISKCON. Wherever the name ISKCON would come up, Srila Prabhupada's name must come up as the founder Acharya. So, with the passing of time, this point is becoming clearer and clearer. After Prabhupada left, the devotees started to believe, or devotees were taught that now Prabhupada has left, and now these 11 gurus are the gurus. And this understanding was so clear that if anybody went against that understanding, he was driven out of ISKCON. It happened. But today what is happening? We are seeing that after, like when so many of the gurus have fallen down, then one thing became very clear, that no one is there who is capable of taking up Srila Prabhupada's role, Prabhupada's position. So Prabhupada's position is clear. And now we are becoming more and more aware that in an institution, to function as an institution, we have to function as a representative. ISKCON doesn't belong to anyone but Srila Prabhupada. Who does ISKCON belong to? Does ISKCON belong to the gurus? No. Even the disciples, do the disciples belong to the gurus? Who do the disciples belong to? ISKCON, yes. You have joined ISKCON. You belong to ISKCON. Your guru is your guide who is helping you to be in ISKCON and acting as a via medium between Srila Prabhupada and you by clarifying Srila Prabhupada's teachings to you. So these understandings are becoming more and more clear. And as it is becoming clearer and clearer, we are becoming aware of the need of properly establishing Srila Prabhupada in ISKCON, and that's why this book has come out. And see, the initial part of the book is the basic point. And then it has been elaborated. Those points have been further elaborated. So originally I think it was only 8 pages. The real text is only 8 pages, and the extended elaboration and explanation amounts to this book, which is about 120 pages. But that of course has glossary and a few other abbreviations, etc. And I just want to also read a part of my introduction to this book, the foreword to this book. I was asked to write the foreword of this book. I'll read the last paragraph, This book is thoroughly researched and based on Shastra and historical facts. It is academic in nature and provides a foundation on which we can build a holistic culture of education meant to firmly and very practically establish Srila Prabhupada's position as the founder Acharya of ISKCON. Of course, pure Krishna consciousness acknowledges no technique. Its only base is humility and absolute surrender. And it is in this mood that we offer this publication to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, and all his devotees. So now the next point is very important. Please take note. Kindly note that this book is not meant for casual reading, but for implementation. This book is not meant just for casual reading. The purpose of this book is to implement a principle. What is the principle? Principle is Srila Prabhupada's position as the founder Acharya. If we do that, our personal and collective relationships with Srila Prabhupada will flourish unlimitedly, and we'll come to very practically understand that our beloved founder Acharya is not frozen in time. He is an eternal assistant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's divine flood of compassion and Krishna Prem. And his heart melts and flows without restriction or impediment to anyone and everyone who shows the slightest interest in his teachings and the Nam Sankirtan mission. So take this book very seriously and make it a point to read it carefully. Rabindranath Prabhu also wrote the preface of this book. I'll just read few paragraphs from that, just to give an idea. He's saying that as a member of the SPPC, that is Srila Prabhupada's Position Committee, I was assigned the task of writing a foundational document for ISKCON devotees on the import of Srila Prabhupada's position as founder Acharya. Having accepted this assignment, I found myself spending many days and nights absorbed in thinking, somewhat obsessively, about Srila Prabhupada, about his life and his heritage, about his movement, about myself as a disciple, and similarly, my mental and emotional states became acutely heightened, and yet suspended from any determinate conclusion. And then I sat down and in 2 or 3 hours typed a short statement, no more than 3 pages, that seemed to come almost of its own accord. It was based on little or no research and no new finding, simply my own intuition and realizations. I refined it somewhat, and at the next available occasion, presented it to the other members of the strategic planning group. To my relief, the overwhelmingly positive response assured me, at least, that I was heading in the right direction. This direction was given a concrete shape by the follow-up instructions. Great, they said. So far, now write a commentary. So what he wrote in essence, in 3 pages, elaborated into this 100-some pages, which is mainly the commentary. So this is so I will just go through these points a little bit. Srila Prabhupada as founder Acharya of ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada showed great concern that his position as ISKCON founder Acharya always be prominently recognized. He mentioned that in each of his books, the title page and cover display his name in full, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, with founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, placed immediately below. Similarly, he ordered that founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada appear directly beneath International Society for Krishna Consciousness on all ISKCON official documents, letterhead, stationery, publications, and signage. In these and other ways, Srila Prabhupada's special, intimate connection with ISKCON is to be always honored. So this is what Srila Prabhupada said. And I have my personal experience also, which I narrated here in I'll read that part also. When I was Srila Prabhupada's personal servant, I noted many times that he would insist that on any printed material, the title Founder Acharya and his full name be printed under the society's name of ISKCON. I was very immature and inexperienced at that time and often wondered, Srila Prabhupada is such a humble and exalted Vaishnava. Why is he so persistently insisting on this? I did not ever openly express this to Srila Prabhupada, but it continued to perplex me. But slowly, by his divine grace, in due course of time, I began to understand his intent. The phrase Founder Acharya is not just a title, but a transcendental system intended to protect, preserve, and give longevity to an institution dedicated to the mass liberation of conditioned souls all over the world in the dark, abysmal age of Kali. So it's not that Prabhupada was concerned about his title as the Founder Acharya for his own aggrandizement. Prabhupada wanted that to hold the institution together. Because the institution needs a head. Can you imagine Christianity without Jesus Christ? Why Christianity is Christianity today? Because of Jesus. Islam without Muhammad? So we need these personalities, who is a founder or the principal spiritual head, always remain in that way for the proper functioning of the institution. So anyway, so today I will do only up to this much, and because we have already, it's a heavy. How do you like this topic? Yeah? Do you find it interesting? I was quite worried that it may sound quite boring to you all. The Maharaja is bringing all this managerial stuff here to crowd our already crowded brains. So, good. Then, if you have any question, you can feel free to ask. Yes, Ramananda. Do we have a microphone? Cordless microphone?
Otherwise I can stand.
Huh?
I can stand.
Okay.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, I find it, for me personally, just the way that now this is all expressed by the GBC in an organized form with the book, is just also a proof that we need an institution. Because to me it's an enormous relief that things are now finally expressed in such a way, because I've seen over the many years, an institution does something to the person. Persons, I've come from this Catholic background, and I've seen how the institution was attacked and how people have suffered, how priests became weird, and so many things happened. So also we had difficulties in ISKCON. It was also difficult, and now and devotees all kind of felt, yes, we need to establish the Prabhupada, but the way to do that was sometimes came out in a very difficult, and sometimes also become weird. It becomes like shouting, Srila Prabhupada, but it doesn't really do the thing. So now, like when you give that lecture in Radhaditch last Saturday evening, everybody could feel it. It's like one of these lectures. It's like electricity. It's like, everybody understands. It's I was thinking of Lord Chaitanya who's going to the Jarikanda forest, and even all the animals start to chant and dance. It is something like that. And now I feel, as I'm listening more, that is such a relief, because also, the Ritviks are there, having tried to react in their way, which was also very, it becomes sometimes like insane. And now things are established, and it's very, very wonderful. I feel so, this is amazing. This is very, very, it's very, very amazing to me. And it's very deep. It's a very important phase what we know having, and I'm so happy and good. And then what I wanted to ask is, like you explained that it's actually it's a culture of. You said it's a culture of. You mentioned the word cultural. What I wanted, there is this fine things. How to, we had this zonal Acharya thing, and now we have the GBC. I would like to have it pointed out in all this development, what is actually how we have to understand the GBC position, and what is the difference with zonal Acharya, then that Srila Prabhupada's position. If that could become cleared out, we would feel more relaxed and could. Because now, sometimes because Srila Prabhupada's teachings are absolute, and devotees, like in an institution, they also tend to become absolute. And then, when things don't flow in relations, it goes wrong.
Good.
And when we don't understand it.
Yeah, I think I got your point, Ramanandan. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. I use the expression, it's a culture, that we have to establish a culture, a spiritual culture. Prabhupada himself said a cultural conquest. It's a culture, culture means a system to promote certain ideology. So that is in that context I use the word culture.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
That, I can see in Belgium and Holland, for instance, both Christian cultures, but Holland is Protestant and Belgium is Catholic. You have two different people.
Yeah, right.
Cultural influence.
Yeah.
And the cultural conditioning is very strong.
Right.
So that's what I understood. I don't know if it's...
Yeah, that's true, yeah. That is, you see, like a systematic way to present or promote the ideology. They're promoting the ideology of Catholicism in Belgium and Protestantism in Holland, right? And anyway, so that was... Now, you see, when you look at ISKCON, Prabhupada gave a very clear understanding how ISKCON should be managed. And during Prabhupada's time, we followed that, and ISKCON was in perfect shape. And that structure actually is, Prabhupada is the head of the institution as the founder Acharya. Then GBC is the ultimate managing authority, right? GBCs are zonal secretaries, meaning Prabhupada's secretaries in different zones.
What does it mean, managerial?
I was coming to that. And the units of ISKCON are the temples. So the temples are the unit, and the temples are managed by the temple presidents. It's kind of in a way you can say an independent, or rather unit, a body in itself. Prabhupada didn't actually want the GBCs to be the head of the temples. Prabhupada wanted the GBCs to see that the spiritual standard is maintained. They were like Prabhupada's representatives going to different places and seeing that things are happening correctly, right? But the temples are unit. This temple, that temple, that temple. And this is how Prabhupada actually created a system where ISKCON could expand unlimitedly.
By opening new temples.
By opening new temples. And the temples, you see, is the responsibility of the temple president and the body to maintain the temple. So the society is not being encumbered, right? They have to, temples are independently maintaining themselves. So anyway, that was the basic structure. Prabhupada, GBC body, GBC members, temples, devotees, preaching. But then, as you mentioned, after Prabhupada's disappearance, a trouble started. As you mentioned the word, zonal Acharya. You see, the zonal, already there were zones. Prabhupada created zones, and the zones are under the GBCs. But they become, after they became gurus, these 11 individuals, they kind of became the head, spiritual head of their zones in proxy. Because now Prabhupada is gone, now we are the heads. And they had a system that everybody in the zone had to take initiation from them, whether you like it or not. So that was the zonal Acharya system. It was going on, but then the trouble started when the guru started to fall down. When the guru fell down, then the disciples lost faith, and the zones collapsed, one after another. And therefore, in 1986, there was a committee formed called the 50-man committee. The 50 senior devotees from different parts of the world got together during Mayapur GBC meeting, and their objective was to find out where we went wrong. Like why it is happening. Now ISKCON is, at the time, can you imagine, out of 11 gurus, 6 gurus already fell down by 65. The majority of the gurus have fallen down. So can you imagine what the state of affairs? And causing so much damage. You have seen it yourself in Belgium and France. Like, it caused so much damage. So many devotees lost faith. And anyway, so then that zonal Acharya system was abolished. No more zonal, like devotees now are free to choose their guru. And the gurus can go anywhere and accept disciples. So eventually, I'll admit that this also created a problem. This created a problem in the form of guru groupism. I don't know whether you all are familiar with that concept. The disciples rally around their gurus, and within ISKCON another groups are created. And this guru's group, that guru's group, and so forth. Now, what Srila Prabhupada actually wanted? Prabhupada wanted one institution, not one institution with 25 divisions. One institution with everyone completely tuned in to the basic objective of that institution. That's what Srila Prabhupada wanted. And that is one thing that we are facing a challenge now. And in subcommittee, strategic planning committee, we have another committee called the parallel line of authority. Like, you see, during Prabhupada's time, the line was one line. Prabhupada, GBC, temples, and so forth. But now it developed a parallel line of authority. the Guru's line of authority. Now how to solve the problem? Should we become Ritviks and say no Gurus? No, that is also not desirable. Like, yeah, we need Gurus. Devotees need Gurus. Disciples, in order to make spiritual advancement, they need an ongoing guidance, spiritual guidance. We need Gurus. Now what is needed, that the Gurus now must come under the authority structure of ISKCON, which is Prabhupada as the founder Acharya, GBC body, and the Gurus. Now that is the challenge we have, how to implement it, because there are, for an institution like this, it's very difficult to get everybody agree with you. But we are just playing it cool. Like, let it happen gradually, slowly. It will happen. I'm quite confident that it will happen. And it's happening. Like when I started to give initiation, I made it very clear that I am just initiating on behalf of Srila Prabhupada. Ritviks loved it. They thought I have also become a Ritvik. But the thing is, yes, we are initiating on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, but still we have to play the respective role of the Guru. Like, yes, assume the responsibility, guide the disciples. And now I notice that some other godbrothers of mine are also taking that same kind of a stand and saying that they're initiating on behalf of Srila Prabhupada. And so it's a matter of just becoming aware of that necessity. You see, which I have told you all many times before, that what is the role of the Gurus in ISKCON as opposed to normal understanding of the role of a Guru. Normal understanding of the role of a Guru was that Guru is the transparent via medium between the disciple and Krishna. Transparent via medium. Generally between disciple and Krishna. Guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata bij. But in the context of ISKCON, you see, had I have my ashram and I was teaching my disciples in that ashram, then yes, I could have been the absolute authority. Right? Be the via medium between disciple and Krishna. But I am actually functioning not in my ashram. I am functioning in ISKCON. So I am not functioning independently as Guru. My role is relative. If ISKCON tells me tomorrow, Maharaj, you stop giving initiation, I have to accept it. Right? And this is my role. I'm functioning as a representative of ISKCON, or to be more clear, representative of Srila Prabhupada. So when I function that way, then who am I, the via medium between disciples and Srila Prabhupada? Via medium in the sense, but the teachings are based on Srila Prabhupada's teachings. Right? I am transmitting Srila Prabhupada's teachings as Prabhupada's representative. The devotees, my role as a Guru is to take them to Srila Prabhupada, develop their loyalty to Srila Prabhupada, make them understand Srila Prabhupada's teachings, and become properly situated in Prabhupada's ISKCON. Right? So that is the role. Not via medium, of course, but not between disciple and Krishna, but disciple and Srila Prabhupada. So that is the fundamental ideology of ISKCON. Okay, yes, Saraswati.
Maharaja, Srila Prabhupada said that if you want to know me, then you read my books. And personally, of course, I never met Srila Prabhupada in person because I joined when he left. So I remember one time in the beginning when Srila Prabhupada was like a distant figure. I did, of course, appreciate the books. But as a person, still, I saw him on the Vyasa-san, and the other guru was more present and more prominent at that time. And then for some time, my service was to translate the Srila book. So then one day, after a few months translating, I walked down the stairs in Bangladesh, and then there was a video going on of Srila Prabhupada. Somebody was playing the video. And then I got such a shock, because I felt that all of a sudden I felt that I know this person. I know Srila Prabhupada. And then I realized it was because I had been so intensely reading books because of translations. So my question to you is, you of course have met Srila Prabhupada in person, but and also it is established now that Srila Prabhupada is the Shiksha Guru of everybody in ISKCON. So how do you see, if we make spiritual advancement, how we will, is it like, how we will realize Srila Prabhupada's presence in our life, and how do you experience Srila Prabhupada as still being present?
Well, you know the concept of Vapu and Vani. Out of these two, which one is more important?
Vani.
And which one is permanent? Yeah. So the personality is there, but we have to see or feel the spirit of that personality. What he wants. When I adapt it, then only I am properly linked up with him. What he wants. You see, what is our relationship? Our relationship is very simple. Master and servant. Right? And what is the servant's business? To follow the command of the master. Try to understand what the master wants and try to act accordingly. And that's what we have to do. Like what Srila Prabhupada wants. And then the question arises, why Srila Prabhupada wants that? Does Srila Prabhupada want that in order to exploit us or to benefit us? Right. For our benefit, Prabhupada is doing that. And therefore, I have to surrender to him and become completely tuned up to him. And then only I will derive the ultimate benefit myself. So, you see, the human nature is like that. We want to do something because there is some benefit in that. Does anybody want to do anything to lose something or to gain something? So here we are, whatever we are doing for our ultimate gain, and we have to become aware of that. By being in ISKCON, I'm not helping anybody else. By being in ISKCON, I'm not helping even Srila Prabhupada. Being in ISKCON, first and foremost, is I'm helping myself. So that is the very basic criteria for developing our relationship with Srila Prabhupada. Does it answer your question? Thank you. Yes, Hemagori?
You mentioned that Bhakti Vinod Thakur was, we could make out that he was from the other world. He was very, very empowered. So, we all have come from the spiritual world. But because we all wanted to be the bosses, so Krishna made this material world. So now, my question is, we are, even in this spiritual path, we still all feel that, we want to be the leaders. So, everybody obviously cannot become a leader. Everybody has a different role to play. And we all have to work in, like...
May I correct you here?
Sorry?
May I say something to correct you here in the middle of it? We are here not to become leaders. Why did you join ISKCON? Jiver Sarupai? Eternal leader of this world? Or Jiver Sarupai? Krishna Nitya Das. We are here not to become leaders. We have come here with a specific purpose to become servants of the servants. Okay, carry on now.
No, but sometimes I see like people say, oh, why this one is going to order me and tell me to do something, I can also
Okay.
be the leader.
Fine. Yeah. And that attitude we have to overcome. We shouldn't think, why he is ordering me? When we feel that way, who is actually that responding? My false ego. Now in Krishna consciousness, we have to get rid of our false ego. Right? If somebody comes up with giving us some order, our attitude should be, yes, Prabhu, I'll try my best to do it. See, this is a change of attitude is absolutely necessary. As long as we want to lord over, we will remain in the material nature. If we want to go to the spiritual sky, we have to give up the tendency to lord over and become the servant of the servant. Right?
Yeah, this question is like, everybody, this is some inborn quality in a person. Everybody cannot become a leader.
Don't worry about become leader. If Krishna wants, he'll make you a leader. Prabhupada didn't want to become a leader. It's Krishna who made him a leader. Right? Similarly, our attitude should be, we are here to become servants, not masters. If somebody has become a master, if somebody has become a leader, let's recognize that Krishna has put him in that position. But I am happy just by being the servant of the servant. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is saying, Gopi Bhattu Pada Kamalayo Dasho Anudasho Dasho Asmi. I am the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, the lover of the gopis. So that is our role. Right? If somebody is a leader, okay, he's a leader. And I feel happy that I don't have to take all the responsibility like he has to. I don't have to worry about so many people's welfare and like I'm fine. Like in my little world, I'm doing a little service and I'm happy doing that. So that is the attitude of a devotee. I don't want to become big. I want to become small. And that is the meaning of Trinadopi Sumichena. I want to become more humble than a blade of grass. So that is the spirit of Krishna consciousness. All right? Yes, Ramananda?
In that respect, Guru Maharaj, you just 2 days ago there was this quote from you on that says that we should be ready to take up responsibility for Krishna.
If Krishna gives it, take it. If Krishna's devotees want you, do it. But not that, I want to become the big personality. Whatever you want me to do, Prabhu, or Prabhus, I am ready to do it. Like the other day, I was talking to one of my godbrothers in New Vrindavan, and he was telling me that how Radhanath Maharaj was so reluctant to take sannyas. When the proposal came that he should, and he was being asked to take sannyas, and he was telling that, he was confiding with some of his close associates, saying that, no, I'm not qualified. And that feeling was genuine. It's not that just saying that, oh, I'm not qualified. And he used to give reasons. So, for so long I used to keep my long hair and beards. I did not become submissive. I didn't submit to. And this is the thing, like although so qualified himself, he was thinking that he was not qualified. So that is the mood of a devotee. Although the responsibility or title or position is awarded, his initial response is, I am not qualified. Just like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. The devotees asked him, please write, you are such a poet, you are such a prolific thinker and writer. And he was not accepting. But then when Govindaji indicated, then he took up the responsibility. So that is the mood of a devotee.
Sometimes because again I'm coming from that Catholic background where everything was dark in the churches and it was to me such a sad story. So now when I am in a kirtan, I feel if you do a kirtan, you have to do a kirtan. You cannot stand there and I call it, you cannot do a funeral kirtan. And so then when I read the kirtan, I want to read the kirtan. And then I feel, okay, and some devotees, I feel they, and I cannot understand why they should be swing. So sometimes there's conflict in these things, because I feel if we lead, we should lead. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to become the temple president because I lead the kirtan. I feel if we do the thing, we have to go for it.
You go for it. Hare Krishna. So, okay, let's do kirtan.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for watching. I am just sharing, I have already shared the quiz link in the chat box. So devotees can start solving the quiz. Meanwhile, I will request Maharaj if he can read this quote by Srila Guru Maharaj.
Krishna can do everything by his inconceivable potencies. However, he wants his devotees to come forward and make up the responsibility. In this way, he provides them with the opportunity to make spiritual advancement. Guru Maharaj's personal message in spiritual connection. Acharya Special, 10 June 1997.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Right here, Prabhu, you can show the screen and devotees can solve the quiz. The link in the chat box.
Huh?
Link is there in the chat box.
Yeah, I see.
Hare Krishna, devotees can quickly solve the quiz. Till now, how many participants? 49 devotees participated. Okay, now Sundar Damodar Prabhu at first, Shatik Sarab Prabhu, Mukt Purush Prabhu, I think Krishna Bhushan Prabhu, then Survi, then Mitlapati Prabhu, Mukunda Priya Prabhu, then Ankur Prabhu, then Ishwari Radhika Mata, Rajiv Shukla Prabhu, Shurbi Sundari Mata, Jayesh Prabhu. Okay, you can refresh once more. This link will be available in Bhakti Charu Swami WhatsApp groups, so devotees can take out their time and solve it. At last, the announcement. So every Sunday we are having remembrance session of Srila Guru Maharaj, and we are hearing from different disciples of Srila Guru Maharaj. And this time on 13th June at 4 p.m. we will be having with us His Grace Sri Hari Prabhu from South Africa, sharing his fond memories with Srila Guru Maharaj. So all of you are kindly requested to join this session also on Sunday 4 p.m. Thank you very much everyone for joining for this weekly association, hearing, coming together and hearing from Guru Maharaj. Jai His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Guru Maharaj ki Jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.